Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Yelling at My Husband and then leaving him at the clinic after his prank? I'm a 28-year-old female and my husband is a 34-year-old male, and we've been married for a year. Before I met him, I got a dog named Ollie, a German Shepherd. This was originally my sister's, but she passed away and I immediately took him in to live with me. My husband adores Ollie, and sometimes he jokes that he's married to me only because of Ollie. He likes making jokes and doing pranks, but some of them are downright nasty. He'd always get me worried by lying and saying Ollie ran off when he was hiding him in a place I didn't know about. He knows how much worry and stress those pranks cause me, but he says it's my reaction that's priceless and worth all the yelling and lashing afterwards. Ollie needed to be taken to the clinic for a checkup. My husband said he'd handle it. During the second visit, to get the results, I received a call from my husband and his voice sounded like he wasn't okay. I asked what was wrong, I got worried, and he said it was about Ollie. I started to shake. I kept asking what was going on, and he told me that Ollie had been diagnosed with cancer. He said he wanted me to come over to the clinic as soon as possible because Ollie was with the vet. I couldn't stand. I started asking, is that why Ollie lost weight lately, and such. I rushed to the clinic and found my husband standing near the entrance with Ollie. The first thing I noticed was him laughing hysterically and telling me that I really bought his lie. I was confused, and he said it was just a prank, Ollie is perfectly healthy, and handed me the results to check. After I checked, I lost it. I lashed out at him. Not going to lie, I called him awful names to his face, and he suddenly turned red like he didn't expect me to react this way. He argued that I made it a big deal, obviously, and was being mean to him over a prank that didn't even last an hour. I kept lashing out. I didn't give him a chance to keep talking. I took Ollie and the keys, and I left. I arrived to the clinic in a taxi. I left him at the clinic while me and Ollie went home by the car. 3 hours later, he came back and was upset. He usually laughs in even serious situations, but this time he didn't. He argued that I shouldn't have left him like that and that I overreacted. Said he was trying to make good memories to look back on and laugh at, but I was unnecessarily overreacting. He stopped talking after that. I just wanted to mention that this started months after his father's passing. His family said he never mentions his dad, nor keeps anything of his, although they were very close. I never met his father, but they told me he wasn't suffering from anything, and his death was sudden, and my husband had a hard time processing it. This could be a reason for his behavior. Alright, OP. First off, I don't think your husband needs an excuse for his bad behavior here. This is completely uncalled for. This isn't a joke, and your husband, if he thinks this is a joke, if he really is hard hit by his father's passing, he needs serious therapy here. Lying and making you be convinced that your dog is dying of cancer? What? Oh, that isn't a joke. It's not. No one's laughing here except for him. And, the joke isn't, there's just nothing funny about that. There really isn't. I mean, this is what the boy who cried wolf was all about, right? I mean, this is a town has a boy who's watching out for wolves, and every day he comes and starts screaming to the townsfolk, oh, there's a wolf, there's a wolf. And then one day, when the town gets tired of his shenanigans, he sees a real wolf, and he tries screaming for help, and the wolf rips him apart and eats him. But the town folks didn't come to save him because he had lied too many times, and they didn't realize that this was yet another joke. The moral is, things like this aren't funny, and making people worried and concerned isn't funny. It's just going to make people deaf to actual cries for help. Now, again, if you dated your husband for a long time and he didn't do these things before, and this is suddenly a shift in his behavior, then, maybe he needs to seek help and seek therapy, because again, This isn't funny. This isn't normal. And how did he expect you to react when you were convinced that your dog was dying? Like, this just isn't funny. Such poor taste. Anyhow, I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this, and hopefully things get better. Hopefully you and your husband can work out your issues, family counseling, therapy, individual therapy on his part, whatever it takes. But yeah, not funny. Not the jerk. This isn't a prank. This is abuse. He wanted you to feel like your beloved dog was dying for his amusement. He laughed at your pain. Even him holding the dog and saying he ran away is unbelievably cruel. His words aside, I think he's jealous of Ollie. Forget leaving him at the clinic. You should consider leaving his lying, cruel butt entirely. Yes, you're right. I don't know why he keeps joking about serious stuff like that. He once lied to his friend group that their friend was dying overseas. Half of the group isn't talking to him anymore because he lied about their close friend's death. It scared them, and it was highly inappropriate, but he kept trying to justify that it was a prank. I don't know why he thinks any of this is okay. I've already warned him and told him not to get Ollie involved in his pranks, but it took me to lose my temper to get him to realize that what he's doing is unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, people who get emotional enjoyment out of watching other people suffer, just not a good look. Really bad luck. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Let My Husband's Oldest Friend into Our Home? Yes, another post where it seems obvious that I'm the jerk from the title, but hear me out. My significant other's oldest friend is a bully. We'll call him Matt. 3 years ago, Matt was over at our house having some beers with significant other. I had been out all day with our oldest child and got home in the evening. I cheerfully said hello and had a drink with them while putting our shopping away and got our kids sorted before bed while occasionally chit-chatting with the guys. I asked my significant other to turn down the music as the kids were going to sleep. Matt started chirping me to the significant other, saying, "Oh, fun's over, I guess," and the like. He made several other rude comments, including asking me if I was going through the change when I mentioned that it was warm in the house. I bit my tongue because he's just a loser. The final straw was when I was laying down with my daughter. And I overheard Matt say to the significant other, "I guess I can see now why you're not allowed to come and hang out with us anymore, dude." Again, radio silence from my significant other. I was livid. I came downstairs and said, "That's more than enough." The first 5 comments weren't funny either. I went back upstairs till he left. Once he was gone, I came downstairs and let loose on my significant other, telling him what a jerk his friend was and how dare he speak to me like that in my own home. Tons of swear words, and I wasn't quiet about it. Matt was on the porch waiting for significant other to bring him something and heard everything. He sputtered out a lame apology and then left in a hurry. To make matters worse, about a week later, the group got together where Matt called significant other out in front of everybody because of how I treated him, painted a picture of me being a crazy wife, and told my husband that he only apologized because they're boys. Significant other, in his infinite wisdom, came home and told me this. Worth mentioning, this is very out of character for significant other. He's got weird blinders when it comes to his friend. No excuse for his behavior, but it's not the norm. He would also handle the kids if I were the one having a visit. Fast forward 3 years. Significant other has continued seeing Matt from time to time. I have never stopped significant other or given him grief when he visits Matt. I just keep asking that he keep it away from me. Things came to a head about a week ago. Significant other told me that Matt was coming over to apologize at significant other's direction. The reason for this was not that Matt had some great epiphany, but that significant other wanted to start having Matt over again. Basically, I'd be accepting a second fake apology so that the boys can play at my house again too. Barf. Here's what I wonder. If I am the jerk, significant other has asked for compromise, that he'll only have Matt over when I'm not home. This is a concession I really don't feel ready to make. After that night, he never once told Matt that his behavior was unacceptable. I don't think I should have to allow this person inside my home ever. I have taken the hard line on this. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP, I'm going to agree with Reddit on this one, and I'm going to say that you're not the jerk. I don't think this is a compromise that you have to make. Your significant other's friend is just plain rude, and people who make rude comments and about you behind your back really just aren't worth your time. You don't need to be disrespected because you know as well as everyone else that when Matt comes over to the house, he's just going to start bad-mouthing you and saying how bad you are. And what happens if you come home early and you overhear in the middle of his conversation of this, or, he sees you or something like that? It just doesn't, it's going to be one of those very awkward situations, and it just feels like you shouldn't have to deal with that, especially not in your own home. So until Matt offers up a real apology and actually grows up, I don't think that you have anything to worry about here. Not the jerk, but it's not the friend that's the problem. It's your significant other. He's not backing you up with his jerk friend. Yeah, actually, this is something that I was going to talk about, but I kind of forgot about. I know that OP rationalizes, her significant other's behavior by not calling Matt out, but he's not calling him out because he doesn't want to rock the boat. He doesn't want to make his friend feel uncomfortable. And maybe if for once he shut, Matt down and was like, hey, that's not cool, to say these kinds of things, Matt wouldn't feel like he could get away with saying these things. And so instead of, your significant other being the bad guy, you're the bad guy because now, my hands are tied. I'm sorry. It's the wife that's not letting you into the house and stuff like that. So, your husband doesn't have to take the blame at all here for this. I mean, you just continue to get to take the blunt end of all this. So that's really unfair. And it just seems like your husband needs to step up and just say, look, Matt, this isn't funny. Stop saying about these things about my wife. And again, Matt feels like he has the ability to say these things because your husband has never stepped in and called him out for it. At least that's the way I see it. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.